make sure you can see everything.
Yeah, I got it.
Ready?
We ready?
Okay, so the first one is Futurecast help. Sometimes it can be touchy, changing models, time settings, and different parameters. Overview of just how to adjust better.
Okay. So go into your show and go to, like, for example, this it says DMA HRRR. That's just what it's named, but I'm going to hit enter on that and bring it up. And if you scroll down, you've got all these parameters. You can like add a cold front or a warm front or something if you want to. For example, if you want to add a front, there's already one here. You go to, where is the front? Go to scene camera and zoom out and find it because there it is. It's way over there. And what I like to do is expand out a little bit and then hit selection where your camera view is. That way it's not going to like snap back into that localized camera point. So go down here to your front, click on it, and you see where it highlights it. You can use your arrow keys to move it over, or you can drag. And if you notice, this front is actually backwards. The cold front's supposed to point down, the warm front points up. So if you go over here to flip pattern, that will change that. So just remember, anything you change on here, make sure you hit selection because otherwise it will not save that camera view or that waypoint. And then this is your, for simplicity versions, this is your seconds on your timeline. 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4, 5, 6. And if you move your little flag over, you'll see how everything moves, right? Well, let's say we want that front to move. I don't know, go out to maybe 1 second. That front, let's say it's way over here. So I'm going to click and move it, make it look however you want it to look, hit selection, and then it gives you a little gray bar there, meaning there's a transition. All right, so if you go back and move it, you see how it moves. If you wanted to fade, go here to transparency, bring transparency down, and then hit selection, and the front will fade away. Change models. Oh, and be careful of your waypoints. If you accidentally create a waypoint right here, there's going to be two together, it will jump. So just go through and look at your waypoints, make sure everything's smooth and laminar.
Are the fronts automated, or do you have to?
No, you have to manually draw those. Okay. I never show the fronts because it's a pain to manually draw those, and they do change so much. There's sometimes you might if you want to, if there's a big cold front coming through, you can draw one, but every time the model updates, it will be off a little bit. So as we go into time, like 2 hours from now, the front's going to be 2 hours too far behind. Mm-hmm. So it's cumulative. Every hour you go, this will change slowly. So to change and turn off, just turn the little eyeball off. It's gone. The clouds, precip, contour, you see those. So if you go to precip, that's going to be your model. And I like to use precip type. You can use simulated, let me find it. Composite reflectivity, you can use that if you want. And that will give you looks kind of like radar. Some models don't have that ability, like the GFS and the Euro. But if you're using the HRRR, it does have the ability to do the composite radar. The time, always keep this on latest run. And don't try to manually change that because it will mess things up. Interpolate, that means to smooth between images. So in other words, if I turn that off, it's going to be, it's not really choppy there, but if it's, like a 3 hour model update, every 3 hours it will jump. Mm-hmm. So I try to do the interpolate, which makes it just smooth and laminar, which I like. Change the model. So if you go here with the composite reflectivity, these are your only options. So if you were to go to precip type, where are you? There you are, precip type. That gives you more options. Like you got the Euro, you got the Canadian model, the GFS, the graph. For high resolution models, I like the GRAF, the 4 kilometer. That gives you a good 48 to 72 hour window. So that's really good. If you want to show something coming this weekend, or several days in advance, you might want to use the European, which the global 9 kilometers is really good. The GFS is good. The global 25 kilometer, that's really good to use. I don't like the NAM. NAM's always terrible, but if you want to show it, there you go. Cloud cover, same thing. That's the same thing. Now, there's a way you can change your data time here. If you click this little pencil, it will pop this up. Somebody's been going in here and changing this. I'm not sure who, but I like to keep it as start of custom time range set to relative to current day. Same thing there, to current today and current time. And then end, you can do as many days in advance you want. Like if you're going to use a European model, you might want to change this to 5 days or 6 days or something like that. Or you can do the hours. So for example, 5 days would be 120 hours. And then hit OK when you're done on that.
So that's easier than putting in an actual date.
Yes.
Okay, that's been me trying to change
So,
that.
oh, okay, all right, yeah. So don't worry about that. And this will correlate correctly with your time here.
And then, even though it says DMA ARRR,
Yeah.
you can do other models on that.
Absolutely. That's just the name of the graphic.
Okay.
So, and when you're done, save it. Obviously, you have, undos if you really mess up, but let me close out it. I'm not going to save it, but all you have to do is click on this twice. Okay, I lied. Hit enter. You'll change the name, have to do a file save as, and then just give it a new name.
Okay.
So like, for example, if you want to create another model, you could do like DMA graph, GRAF.
Okay.
That way there's different models. I like just go in there and change it on the fly. Another thing, if something happens, you go to save something, and it gives you a little box that says maximum limit 400 graphics or something like that. That means you're just out of room. So what you have to do is just close out of this, go in your show in these scenes, and if there's a scene in here you don't need, that you don't often show, just delete it. And it doesn't delete it forever. You can go back in, if you go to Content Library, go to Max Scenes, there's all your stuff that's within there. That's all your folders, like for example, current conditions and all that. And if you were to click on current conditions, there'll be a little check mark by everything that's in your show. So if there's something that's not in your show, like for example, if you want to show this wind particles thing, just click, drag it in here, drag it into your show somewhere. Oh, look, I hit the 400 limit. Just press OK. Go in here, delete something to make room. I have way too many graphics in my show, that's why I don't have any room. Let me think.
How do you slow down?
Yes, the Futurecast?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so go back in here, hit enter. There's another little pencil, the one on top. See this edit scene duration? If you go to here, you can change, increase by 1 second or 2 seconds, however many seconds, or you can decrease by that. So in other words, if you were to click decrease by, let's say 2 seconds, notice how it goes to 6 right here. Now it goes to 3. So that's going to naturally slow it down because it's got a longer, or it's got a wider window. Oh, I'm sorry, I just sped that up. I did that backwards. I sped that up. If you were to give it more seconds, it would slow it down.
Gotcha.
Because it's a longer window to go through.
That's really helpful because sometimes I show a Futurecast and
It zips through, yeah. So if you're showing like a longer range model, it's good to have longer seconds. But if you're showing a short range model, it only goes out 24 hours, you might want to narrow it down some. Or vice versa, whatever your speed is. What else on this?